Hi everyone, I'm Swift, and today I'm talking about Elizabeth Swann from one of my all-time favorite series, Pirates of the Caribbean, and how she's an excellent subversion of the damsel in distress trope. The first Pirates of the Caribbean movie is a movie I have seen so many times that I can recite it from memory. I can hear parts of the soundtrack and know exactly what's happening in the movie when they play. I have been on one of the actual ships used in filming, and in 8th or 9th grade, I basically made liking Jack Sparrow my personality. What can I say? I was undiagnosed with ADHD, and it remains one of my favorite things I've ever hyperfixated on. Elizabeth Swann is the queen of the Pirates franchise. Throughout the 3 movies, we watch her go from kidnapped but capable damsel to pirate king to the wife of a sea god. Elizabeth is such a rarity of a character. She is a wonderful case of a woman who needs rescuing, but who isn't a helpless waif. She may be in a love complex between Jack, Will, and Commodore Norrington, but her value isn't only as a romantic prospect or prize for them to win. Instead, she is a full-fledged person with fully realized goals and motivations. She is a strong female character. In previous videos, Fox and I have defined a strong female character as a well-written female character with well-thought-out motivations, goals, and struggles. And Elizabeth is precisely that. Getting kidnapped or having love interest doesn't make a female character weak. What makes her weak is dependent on how she reacts to these situations. And Elizabeth does not faint into a puddle or resign herself to her fate. No, she kicks pirate butt. Today I'm mostly going to be talking about her appearance in the first Pirates movie, The Curse of the Black Pearl, in part for the interest of time, but also in part because I had a tooth pulled last week and my face is made of pain and my blood is made of antibiotics. I apologize in advance if anything I say is incoherent. As an extension of that, Fox and I will be adjusting to a bi-weekly upload schedule. This was a hard decision for us, and it means we'll have to cut about half of the super cool women we wanted to talk about. But as it stands, it's just realistic. Fox and I work full-time jobs outside of doing YouTube, and while we wish we could dedicate all of our time to this, it's just not possible. So in the interest of our sanity, we're cutting down. Also, for those of you who watched our previous video, yes, I know Elizabeth doesn't match the silhouette hint. Stuff happens, teeth get pulled, we're sorry. All that being said, spoilers ahead for Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. Now, before I get into Elizabeth, let me just give some quick background for those who might not know. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl is a Disney action-adventure movie that was made in 2003, based on a theme park ride of the same name. The film's story loosely followed the one outlined in the ride. I admittedly have never been on the ride as it was closed when I went to Disney over a decade ago, but thanks to the powers of the internet, I can live vicariously through ride-along videos in order to experience it. The ride features a number of scenes that were repurposed for the movie, my personal favorite being the dog key prison bit. It's also got skeleton pirates, a creepy curse, and drunken, goofy, non-skeleton pirates ransacking a town. Since the success of the Pirates movies, it's been given a few facelifts, rewriting the story to be about Jack Sparrow, including some of the movie's soundtrack, and featuring a couple Jack animatronics. This comes with some mixed feelings. Back when it was just adding Jack popping out of a barrel years ago, I thought it was fun, but I can see how centering the whole thing around the movies is disappointing to fans of the original ride. They've tried to make some of their other non-movie related rides have tie-in movies, but none of those have been even remotely as successful as Pirates. I don't think anyone other than me even bothered to watch Jungle Cruise. So what's Pirates about? Some years ago, shortly after mutineering against Captain Jack Sparrow and leaving him to die, the crew of the Black Pearl finds a cursed treasure chest of Aztec gold medallions that grant immortal life, but at a cost. They feel nothing but insatiable greed, and they cannot die. Food doesn't fill their stomachs, water doesn't quench their thirst, they are worse than the living dead. They want to fix that curse, but unfortunately they need the blood of a crew member they killed and his medallion to fix it. That crew member, Bootstrap Bill Turner, had mailed his medallion to his son Will in England. Naturally, those pirates want that medallion. After a failed attempt to get it, it lands in child Elizabeth's hands, and years later those pirates wind up kidnapping her and mistaking her for Bootstrap Bill's kid, leading to Will teaming up with the dishonest revenge-seeking pirate Jack Sparrow to save her. It's honestly a perfect movie. It's got adventure, comedy, love, pirates, plenty of twists and turns, everything a good story needs. It's truly one of my all-time favorite films, and it does a wonderful job of balancing its 3 protagonists. Jack, Will, and Elizabeth all play major roles in the plot and are all given opportunities to shine. The story could not work if any of the 3 were missing. While Jack is the flashiest, will always be the most recognizable, the other 2 are just as important as him. Elizabeth Swann is the daughter of Governor Weatherby Swann of Port Royal, an English-controlled port town situated in Jamaica. Elizabeth and her father came over to Port Royal from London when Elizabeth was a young child. As a child, she is immediately depicted as quick-thinking, caring, and of course, curious about pirates. It is her sharp eyes that spotted the young Will Turner adrift in the ocean, and her quick thinking that may have saved his life when she took what she assumed was a pirate medallion from him, a decision that would later lead to the pirates going after her instead. Elizabeth's key traits persist into adulthood. She's still quick-thinking and compassionate, and her interest in pirates has grown tenfold. As an adult, she seems like a caged bird. Beautiful, with an overprotective father and a proper marriage match due to be in order. But she has a crush on Will. She doesn't want to marry Commodore Norrington, but she knows it's a smart match that will guarantee her a comfortable future even if she can't help but be interested in pirates and adventure. This isn't an uncommon basis for a woman in historical fiction, wealthy woman wanting danger. And it's one that can lead to some pretty unbearable Mary Sues. But Elizabeth does it so well, because Elizabeth is a subversion of the damsel in distress trope. Now, subversion is a word that gets thrown around a lot. It basically means it contradicts expectations of the trope. We expect her to be helpless and wait for Will to rescue her, but instead she does everything in her power to realistically try and save herself. When pirates attack the manor, she holds her own. She may scream and run from danger, but that's human. She also fights back against that danger. The fact that she does both shows herself as a strong woman. She doesn't run and cry, but she also doesn't just punch her way through a life-threatening experience she's never encountered before. She makes sure her maid gets out safely and defends herself from the pirates using her metal bed warmer, dropping hot coals on a pirate's head. From there, she tries to grab a decorative sword from the wall to defend herself. It comedically doesn't work, but she tried. When violence doesn't work and she gets cornered, it's her sharp wit and intelligence that save her. She calls parley, invoking the pirate code and saving herself from harm in exchange for a chance to bargain with the captain. She also gave Will's last name Turner as an added way to try to protect herself, thinking that the pirates would be more interested in kidnapping the governor's daughter rather than a maid. Unfortunately for her, it was the literal one name that would in fact get her kidnapped. This scene does a wonderful job of showcasing Elizabeth's character, and she stays true to this characterization for the entire movie. After being kidnapped, Elizabeth stabs Captain Barbossa in the heart in an attempt to escape, only to learn he's a cursed undead skeleton man. If he wasn't a literal zombie, then she would have succeeded. Sure, then she'd be on a pirate ship full of angry pirates, but the captain one would be dead. Later on in the film, we see her load and shoot guns, give tactical advice on how to steer the ship, and eventually flip roles and go to save Will herself from the pirates. She single-handedly frees Jack's pirate crew and takes out her fair share of evil zombie pirates. But what's extra awesome about all of this is the fact that her femininity is never brought into it. No one ever says, "You fight like a woman," or any of those cheesy lines to draw attention to her femininity. No, she just fights. And better yet, Jack and Will still get to do cool things too. Far too often does it happen that if a female character is supposed to be perceived as an action hero, then the men around her have to be worse at it or borderline helpless. There's exactly one line in this entire movie I'd say classifies as a "alert, there's a woman here" annoying cheesy line. And that's the "try wearing a corset" line during the final fight. And historical inaccuracies aside, it's still a fun line. And she's hand-to-hand combating a dude during it. I feel like Elizabeth and Will both got overshadowed by the sheer star power that is Jack Sparrow. Compared to him, they seem safe and stereotypical even, when the reality is characters like Elizabeth remain fairly uncommon. I think it's in part due to Pirates having come out just 4 years after The Mummy, a different action-adventure comedy movie with a handsome protagonist, beautiful heroic woman, and colorful supporting cast. Evie in The Mummy and Elizabeth in Pirates are cut from the same surprisingly rare cloth. I think some people also just couldn't get past just how ridiculously pretty Keira Knightley is, and so they put on blinders to anything she actually did. Most feminist reads on the movie seem to get caught up on the ridiculous corset scene or ignore her until she becomes the Pirate King in the third movie, which is just so disappointing. 'Cause yeah, those are stays and not a corset. Yeah, it's a cringy scene. Yeah, it's cool she gets to lead the pirates and there are girl pirates and people of color pirates. But there were girl pirates and people of color pirates in the first movie. And Elizabeth does a freaking lot. She's a badass from the very first scene she's on screen. People get so caught up in the discourse, they forget to see what's in front of them. They forget to actually watch the movie. They only look for flaws or specific things to champion. The fact of the matter is, in 2003, there was a female protagonist in a successful movie who stood shoulder to shoulder with her male counterparts. She provided to the plot, and she was not put down for her femininity. She did not have to rely on stereotypically girly things to win, nor did she have to do things the boy way either. She was simply a well-written female character, and her name is Elizabeth Swann. Overall, I wish we'd gotten more characters like Elizabeth, but she remains a rarity. I wish I wasn't in pain and that I could do a better job at telling you just all it is that I love about her. But I need to be kind to myself and keep this short. If you haven't seen the Pirates movies in a while, or if you've never seen them, check them out. They're on Disney Plus and they are well worth the watch. Pirates is one of my all-time favorite movie series for a reason. It is a fantastic story peppered with wonderful characters, a beautiful soundtrack, and an incredible mixture of practical and CGI effects. I'm more than twice the age I was when I first saw it, and I have a feeling that when I'm twice as old as I am now, it'll still be one of my favorites. And maybe someday, I'll get to actually go on the ride. So, what do you think? Is there a female protagonist you think is awesome? Who would you like to hear us talk about next? We look forward to continuing to share with you A Year of Strong Women. See you next time in 2 weeks, where we'll tell you all about a trio of ladies who remain and remain. If you liked what you saw and want to see more, consider buying us a Ko-fi with the link below. And please be sure to let us know by commenting, and subscribing. We super appreciate it. See you next time, and thanks for watching.